Hi, everyone. We are back. It is now the 6 o'clock hour. I have Leeland Artra with me now.
Hello, hello, hello.
That last one just took all my energy, Leland. I don't know what happened.
I got you. I'm with
I
you.
feel like someone had an energy
So,
sap. I got done and I
I, ca-
crashed in bed and I've been sleeping this whole time.
I caught the end of it, and I was like, okay."
Hmm.
And you
Well,
guys
one
went.
thing we thought about doing was kind of showing some I could take the same prompts that we ran into Llama 3 um, and do some Claude Haiku with them. And that can give you some time if you want. I can do that real fast, and then if you want
Yeah.
to share you were talking to me before we went live. You have a completely different methodology of pantsing with the AI.
Well, yeah. I mean, mine is based off of the fact that a lot of my pantsing is my style is essentially that I write an outline, I get everything put together, but then I completely ignore it and I start writing because the outline just kind of lets me kind of compartmentalize what I want to do, and I write, edit, re-edit, fix, correct, publish one chapter at a time, so that when I'm done with that chapter, I'm pretty much done with that chapter and I move on to the next one. And so I'm instead of doing some massive 80, 50, 60,000 word generation, I'm generating, 5,000, 6,000 word sections at a time, and then working on those until I'm happy with them and publishing them in about 2,000 to 3,000 word chunks. And that doesn't flow well with trying to do a long sequence series. So what I am instead doing is I'm utilizing the $20 a month chat pro things between ChatGPT and Claude, and doing smaller prompts. I mean, I know I'm famous for doing mega prompts, but I've actually started doing much smaller prompting because I'm really focusing in on doing smaller sections, and that's actually been working quite well. That's currently what I'm doing for one of my series. Not all of them, just one.
Awesome. Well, I want to say that I'm excited to show that. Well, okay, I'm lying. I am not. There's no universe where I'm excited about pantsing. I'm not a pantser. I'm not. But I'm really glad that you have I'm excited about your different methodology where um you don't pay attention to the outline and you're doing short stuff. As a matter of fact, we have a comment here from Michelle, who's back in the chat. I'm like you. I don't pay much attention to the outline. Just start writing an ad hoc prompting. So
Yes,
there you go.
my hero.
You have your people here. We had people ready to go for this. Hard Killers was alarm set. Just a matter of the universe not getting in the way now. So glad you made it, Hard Killers. Glad to meet it. Made it Harper and Carrie and Steph Jonas is in the house as well. And Ingrid, howdy. Ingrid, you're not on a horse, right? I know you listened to the last one. She messaged me. She's like, yeah, the last one was in the barn. She was listening in the barn. So, but thank
Yeah,
you.
on a horse, riding, out
Yep,
doing.
of
I mean,
course.
if she's jumping over hurdles, I'm going to start worrying.
Yeah. And Danny is here. Hello, Danny and Jen. Okay. So we'll take a quote. We'll take a vote in the chat. How many people want us to continue real fast the prompts from before the fairies in Miami with Haiku Claude? We talked about that, or we could let Leland jump into kind of showing more about what he's talking about with these smaller prompts. So vote in the chat. Smaller prompt, Leland or Haiku. Those are your votes. Leland or Haiku. Leland or Haiku. It's like a game show.
Dun 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 dun. And you can't sue me for that because I didn't do it right and I was completely out of tune.
Oh, that's okay. Steph, she wants us to do Haiku. Oh my gosh, we got 3 votes for Leland. Leland. It's see you something. I love
So
you.
that basically means I have to share my screen.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
do you want to be a little bit more prepped? And I've got
No, I'm
Dasha.
fine. I'm okay. So
Well, and here's what I can do. I can also change. I know you guys can't hear me. I'm off the screen. My dog. What I can do is I can change the format a little bit so it'll be just the screen. It won't show our faces. They'll just hear our voices, so they can just see the chat window. Do you want to do a new chat?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. I mean, I'm currently kind of prepping this, so it's a little bit on this thing already. So you might as well. We might as well rock and roll.
All right, you can walk us through what you're doing there. So I'll go ahead and add it to the stage, and I'll take us off, or I can probably just put you on.
Something like that. I don't know.
Oh, I have to be on there too. Okay, so let's just do the full thing, and you can zoom in a little bit so they can see it better.
I need to zoom in a little bit. Let's see here.
You zoom in on your browser. Keep going.
Oh, oops. Make bigger.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Hold on here. It's getting bigger on my side.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Okay, wait. That's good. That's perfect. People can see that for sure.
All right, there we go.
We're good.
Okay, so
They
I'll do
can't
that
see us,
one.
by the way. They only see your screen.
Yeah,
But they can hear us.
and then what else have I got? I also need. Let's check the font size on this.
No, it's good.
Oh,
Yeah, we're good.
am I only sharing? Oh,
You're
I'm
only sharing Chat GPT 4 and then Claude. So you're only sharing your browser window, and that's good. That's good.
Okay.
No notion.
Well, in that case, I'm going to be doing some editing in the background that you guys aren't going to see. So that's fine, I guess. Okay. So let's kind of talk a little bit about what I'm doing. So really quickly, I mean, I am writing 5 different serials across 5 different genres, and one of them I'm not quite sure where I want to go with it. I have many ideas, and I kind of created a massive plan for like the large brushstrokes. So I kind of have some idea of what I want to do with it. And then what I have been doing is I have been working on it in the form of I'm putting in ideas for specific scenes. And so what I've done for this, so I'm not actually giving away the precise prompts for that one, is so I'm doing something similar again. So what I do is I have ChatGPT Pro. I'm just using ChatGPT 4, and I just start off with a quick, I do what we talk about. We interview the AI, and I say,
Yeah,
hey,
you're asking it to write the writing prompt. Now,
Oh.
a question: the response that it wrote there, did you edit that response, or is it just?
Well, hold on. Yeah, so I said I want to write this thing. It said absolutely, and then it gave me this really things. It gave me a Neo Tokyo and started adding people. I'm like, no. I want this to be a persona.
Yeah.
So no, I want this to be a persona prompt about being a good writing assistant and writing immersive prose, following the instructions and helping write serials for reader. And so then what it did was it took that and it turned it into, I am a cyber writing assistant. My strengths are this. I'm here to support you in every stop of the writing process, brainstorming ideas, technology, and society. Right.
Perfect. And that's similar to kind of the crux of our fine-tune methodologies, where we're creating personas for our writer persona to write like us, basically inside of the fine-tune.
Right. And so now that I have this, what I do with this is I take this and I copy it.
Yep.
And if you click down here where your account is, there's this little customized ChatGPT.
Yep.
So this is not the same as system instructions. So like when we talk about other things, there's system instructions, there's your main prompt, and then there's this little thing called custom instructions. They're not used the same way. They have a slightly different impact, which can be incredibly influential on what you're getting. So
what's the difference? Like what's the difference between putting this in a system prompt on the playground, in your opinion, versus putting this as custom instructions?
So according to the papers that I've read, what these custom instructions are doing is like the top part is almost like a system prompt, but it's actually being added in kind of like in stage 2. And when the system is going through and it's actually doing multiple passes. So all of these things are doing loops. And so what it does is for the first couple of loops, it's got the top level instruction, which is kind of the persona thing, and it's given a very, very low weight. It's like lightly influencing it, just a feather dusting or sprinkling of extra fine sugar, right? And then the bottom one is being added on the second or third to the last pass, and it's being given a lot of weight. So the bottom one really can influence stylistic outputs and the details and such as you're getting. So the top one's kind of like a light sprinkle. The bottom one's like a heavy-handed, nun with a ruler standing there right next to the engine going, no, you're going to do this.
Apologies for anyone we gave flashbacks to Catholic school.
Yeah, I know. I went to Catholic school too, so yeah, I have lots of letters from the nuns. We won't go into that today. What I first do is I first put this light sprinkling into here because first off you have to get it within 1,500 characters.
Ugh.
And so it's back to the good old days. Luckily, this one
Yeah.
actually fits, so I'm like, okay, that's great. So then I hit save, and then now that I have that in place, I'm like, okay, now that you're a writing assistant for Cyberpunk, now let's talk about the style that I want to do. So I know there's a lot of examples of people out there that like to use specific authors. I do not recommend using specific authors because that just gets you in all kinds of trouble. But you can kind of walk around that by just saying, okay, let's look. I want a good writing style bullet list that includes sharp dialogue, allows cussing, and action oriented, lots of dialogue. And remember, it's got the sprinkling of Cyberpunk already because of the top level, right? So that's like, okay. And so then it came back and gave me this description. I read through it. It looks okay. And then I'm like, okay, well, I need to make that a little bit shorter because it turns out when I copy and pasted this thing, it was too long.
Too big.
Right. And so then it came back and gave me this. Now, these things are bolds, and unfortunately, you're not going to see this. This bold thing actually has like 4 extra asterisks around each of these things. So I actually went over to a text editor, and this is where you're not going to see it. This is why I was like, I thought I shared my whole screen.
That's okay. Like you could also just tell it to rewrite that without bolding it too.
Yeah, I could, but when I get something I like, I'm happy. Now, I also would normally go and edit this. And so what I do is I put this into here, and you'll see that right here, I've added this thing style. I've removed the items. And so now I have this style thing in the bottom one, and that's what's going to really force it. So I'm just going to hit save on this.
Okay.
Right. And now I'm actually working. Now, the interesting thing about custom instructions, unlike every other form of prompting that we do, what's in your context window isn't as impactful as you would think. So it's not going to set you off. So once you have these custom instructions where you have a persona that's helping you as a writing assistant, you can immediately just bounce back and forth between tasks without worrying of pollution of the prior stuff. In fact, I normally want the prior stuff. So now what I'll do is I'm just in the same one. I'm just going to stay right here. I'm going to say, I want a main character who is, let's see, we'll go with Elizabeth, female.
Let's go with Elizabeth.
Who is female, more robot than human, friendly.
What?
And
I object.
And escaped from someplace that did some experiments.
Oh gosh.
Okay, please give me 5 possible character profiles.
All right.
Now, again, I don't have to do anything more. The genre, the style, all the stuff is already in there. So now at this point, I can start building out my main character. And again, the reason that I'm doing this here is because I can actually have, once I get the main character, and I'm not going to get too picky here, but once you have your main character, you boil that main character description down a little bit. And let me check one thing while it's generating. I'm just going to check the size. So my style thing is currently what? Oops. Hide. There we go. Oops. Okay. Pink. Hold on, I'm checking.
That's accurate. Predominantly robotic. She's logical to a fault and finds human emotional responses confusing and often illogical.
Which one is that? Lisa 7?
No, that was like number 3.
Oh, number 3. Okay. Well, we'll take number 3 then.
Number 5. I'm not reserved.
Okay, number 3.
Wait. I wasn't done reading them. Hold on. Go. Stop. Number 4. Highly adaptive AI learning capabilities, expert at manipulation of digital and physical networks. Number 4.
Number 4.
Can we put 4 and 3 together?
Sure. Give me a 200-word combination of number 2 and
number 3 and number 4.
Number 3 I'm just going to copy and paste this. Number 3, and number 4, Lisa 7. Okay. I want a blended personality with some snappy language quirks. Give this to me as a single paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
I knew I was going to do Mila 7.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
I like that better than Mila Kovac or Lisa 7. Mila 7.
Okay, so and so
Logical
this is
disdain.
so hold on here. So that's 170, right? So let's see if I can fit this in. So now what I normally do, despite her superior problem-solving skills, she's a equip. Okay, so now I come back over here to my custom instructions, and above my style, I put in protagonist. And I have to make this smaller so I can see. So I need to knock
400 characters off.
400 characters off that one. Okay. So
I got to admit to you, I'm gonna show our faces for just a second.
Yeah, it's okay.
This would drive me bonkers about, like, this was one of the things that I was always frustrated about the early days of AI, where we were so restricted in what we could have in the context window and everything like that. I like your methodology. Is there really no way to do this inside a playground or something like that, where you have a little bit more free reign, or is it because of the weighting of the parts of the prompts?
It's because of the weighting of the prompts. So it's like, if I put this all inside of if I try and do this using Playground or systems prompts or Rexy, well, which I do use. I mean, I actually do large passes on something like that. But when I'm actually down to the actual writing of the book, even when I've generated 7,000 words, you'll see this is actually what I do to edit it. This is actually how I do my developmental editor and my copy edit pass, is I have these system prompts in there that describe the specific thing that I'm writing with you're a writing system persona. And then I feed it like, it's like, oh, I want to write, like, for example, just yesterday, I wrote and rewrote this entry into this one chapter where I wanted to have this, like, it was a training montage, but it's a building montage with magic and a couple other things.
Mm-hmm.
And I could not make that work. And I was just driving myself insane because I kept trying and trying and trying. I'm like, you know what? I got AI. So I loaded the custom instructions for that particular series into it. So it gave it the style, it knew the protagonist. And then I said, I wanted a training montage. And then I just gave it my crappy one.
Yeah.
And I said, what can I do to improve this? And it came back with some suggestions. I played with those suggestions a little bit, had to give me a few extra ones. And I said, okay, now redo that based off of this. And it wrote something that was really sweet. I just had to make, a few minor adjustments and a couple things and remove a few references that I didn't want, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it got me through that hump. And that is actually incredibly useful for this. And so and then it's like when I'm stuck trying to find what am I going to do for a role or something like that. So like so did I answer your question first?
Yeah, you did. I think so. What I'm thinking is that I know you missed the first part of the last one. So I saw last night. Granted, I've been sick. I've been, I've had my plate very full the last couple of weeks. I was in the API side and I saw this new, like, vector stores section for the assistants on the API side. So I'm wondering if we can't find a way to experiment with your methodology to simulate these custom instructions and things like that with the vector store for an actual assistant, because you have a lot more. So I think what they're doing is they're giving a limited kind of access in the chat, but we would have a wide open access inside of the playground. So here, I'll share your screen again. I just so we're back here. I don't know if you got it fixed, and now we're You want to have an introductory scene with Mila 7 using in media res style with her breaking out of a robbery. She was hired by someone. And they can only see the screen again.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So I like your idea of doing that. So I'm just going to do this one. So what I've done here is I basically had it shortened down. And so now what I have is I have in this bottom one, I have the protagonist, which is a quick description of Mila 7. I have my style and I have my writing thing. So now this is now actually set up for this little cyberpunk, right? And so this is, I'm going to show you a couple examples of how I could pants through something like I want to write an introductory scene for Mila 7, but I want to do it in media res.
Right.
So give me some idea of how to do that. And I'm like, okay.
You're almost making the AI this like custom writing room where you're almost like demanding your junior writer to perform and say, Snappy, let's go. Give me 3 options. Go. Give me 5 options. Go. And you've programmed your writing room with these persona prompts so that the writing room is exactly the kind of writers in that room that you want. It's an interesting process.
So I say, okay, let's do the Underground Heights escape one. Create an intro scene with this. Start with an explosion. Right. And this is just what I mean. I'm quite literally pantsing this as we go.
You are.
Right. And it's because where I'm going is completely based off of all the stuff that we have done so far, because like the AI, I have been kind of learning what I want to do as I've been developing this.
So we do have a quote, or we do have a comment here. Atomic Elf 1 says, very interesting. I'm still catching up at 2x speed, but I like the iterative approach. So, Leland, do you need to take notes as you're working on this? Because I would personally get lost in all the different branches I could go down. Like, do you ever keep notes for yourself as you're going?
So with just a little trepidation here. So this is actually my lit RPG in process. So I have what I call sloppy copy, which is the rough draft, which is the scenes roughly developed by the AI that is actually written. Yeah. And then I have the ones that I actually have written after I edit them, and these are the ones that are going in. But I also have, if you look down here, I have places, I have the cities, I can't see any of that. Oh shoot!
It's okay.
I told you I should have shared my whole screen.
You can share your whole screen. You can stop the share and share it differently.
How do I share my whole screen here?
Hold on a second. I'll go back to us.
Share screen. I want to do window. No, not window. I want to do the entire screen. That one. Share. There.
Okay. So now.
Okay. So here we go. So I use Scrivener. Don't argue with me about Scrivener.
I'm not arguing with you.
Okay. It's like I know you use Notion. That's fine.
No. Just don't be mad if I make something better than Scrivener that works with Rexy that's web based.
I don't mind. I really don't mind. I actually like I also like what I have in Notion.
Yeah.
But what I actually do it is I keep the sloppy copies, which is essentially the rough drafts that straight out from the AI. I then Scrivener. There we go. Then I then start editing the chapters, and these are the chapters that end up getting published.
Yeah.
When I create these chapters, what I do is I just come up here. I take this chapter, I copy it, I come down here, and I'll say chapter 7, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll just paste that in, and then what I'll do is I'll just start taking. I'll get rid of this stuff. Okay, blink, yeah, and then I'll say okay, up to here. I'll just copy this. And then I'll paste it over here to ChatGPT, and then I'll say I don't like this, or give me some developmental editor feedback, or whatever I think I need for that particular section.
Right. So like if we were editing the stuff that it just came out with, the deafening boom, and then like it's got the 4th paragraph, with relentless determination, Mila 7 analyzed. So I would say like rewrite this to have more what is it? Onomatopoeia, whatever it is, like sounds. Like I want to be more action. Like this whole sequence should feel more like an action sequence in a movie, but written for a novel.
Right. So
Like I'd want guards. Like what's
to make
that?
this more an action sequence.
Yeah.
For a novel.
Yep.
But now, note, I say, please give me some development feedback to make this more. And then by saying this, I then just paste that in, right?
Yeah.
So
you're
I'm
asking
not
to make a
referencing what's
plan,
above. I'm just saying here.
make a plan, and then you'll say, okay, now rewrite it using that plan.
But wait, because GPT-4 has gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
So what it does is it actually comes in and it puts this stuff in, and by using these little focus things where it's a writing thing, we get to this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I missed a little key sentence. I'm not going to share. Okay, so here we go. So say okay. Then I say okay. Now okay. So please rewrite that part with your feedback.
Do the work.
I actually have mine set up where I actually have a if I ask for an opinion, give me the opinion and then do the work. But I don't have enough room in the current description to actually add that at the bottom. It's a little extra sentence at the bottom, so I'd have to go play with it and edit it and stuff like that. So it came back with this one. It's a little bit shorter. So, and the fact is that these specific custom instructions were just developed really fast and kind of taken wholesale.
Yeah.
So I'd say that these are slightly underperforming to what, what I would expect.
Well, yeah, you haven't had a chance to validate those personas. You literally just threw it kind of together.
Right. And so, I'm thinking here, you're focused on sensory details, immerse, your writing, balance, rapid. Let's get rid of this balance. Your writing focuses on rapid pace of city life with few moments of introspection. Pulling readers.
Yep.
Into the narrative. There we go. Let's try that. So we'll just hit save on that one. I think that might actually. Yeah.
You can just click the. Oh wait, no! Stop! Erase that. No! Wait, no! Don't do that again. You can just click the little button right there. The little. Regenerate.
I could. I'm not sure if it takes the new custom instructions.
I like that one better so far. That's the best one that I've read so far.
Actually, that did. So thank you. I've never actually thought to hit that regenerate. I've always considered that thing was like dangerous to touch.
It's all dangerous.
Because it's just one of these things where I'm never quite sure if it's going to do what I expect it to do. So I'd rather make sure that it's going to do that. That actually did come out much better. So actually, and that's what I mean by you just kind of have to iterate over this. Like if you decide to change something, and what's really nice about this is, for example, I have detectives who often get into fights. So I always make sure to leave myself a few hundred characters or maybe about 300 characters free on this bottom one, so that when he gets into a fight, I can say his left arm is aching from the previous fight.
Got it.
On the description of the protagonist. So that way I can make sure injuries stay until I want them to go away.
Yeah, it's almost like you're like sending consistent show notes to your writer's room, and then your writer's room is expected to perform, and you're coding your writer's room as you go along.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is not the same as like context stuffing it entirely, because you're not context stuffing a mega prompt. You're being very, very like you're using that plasma knife there to make sure that you're only giving it a little bit of information to get the gist of where you want it to go, but you're really giving it a lot of freedom to push the envelope, to challenge you in your preconceived notions about the story.
Right. And then in pure pantsing thing at this point, I'm like, okay, that's good. Like I've got that one, and I know that it's close enough to what I'm actually going to write. So like I would still copy it over and do some fine-tune editing and make sure it's in my voice. And then I'm like, okay, well, but now it's like, okay, now I'm good. This is where we're at. What could possibly happen next? And it's like, okay, I'm like, okay, let's go with unexpected ally, Neo Tokyo. Well, let's see here. So I like number one, unexpected ally, but I hate the name Neo Tokyo. Can you give me 5 other names for the city? Not cliche. There.
Carrie
Circuit
is
City.
writing. You got a comment here. Carrie saying this is fascinating. Yeah, this is definitely a very different methodology than I've seen people do.
So I like Nova Haven. Oh yeah, I like.
Nova Haven.
Okay, great.
No,
Let's.
no. The 80s kid in me is saying, so we have to use Circuit City.
No, God, no.
I
No. Okay, great. Okay, great. Let's write that next scene.
But we might need a battery for our very
Using
special
the
camera.
city name of Nova Haven, and we want to go with number one unexpected ally. Yeah.
Go gadget.
Boom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, what makes this possible is that I can not reference what's above or reference what's above. It figures it out. And I don't have to include any of the extra side prompting around what am I going to do, right? I thought you were done with this life, Mila7 stated. Could say the same about you, Leon retorted, pushing off the wall, but it looks like trouble still has a way of finding us both.
Yeah, and so you would just clean that up so it doesn't have the on-the-nose dialogue tags.
Yeah.
You'd want some mystery there of who the heck is this person.
Can you make this more ominous?
Gritty.
And gritty. Less
dialogue tags.
Less words, less dialogue, or shorter dialogue. Shorter dialogues, dialogue sentences, more punching, no more
unattributed narrators.
Unattributed. I don't write that. Whatever.
They'll get it.
I can't even figure out unattributed. It'll figure it out.
It's 2 T's. It's 2 T's and there's an A. Unattributed. UNATT.
Screw it. It'll figure it out.
It'll figure it out.
One of the first things I loved about working with
there we go. GPT. Perfect. Well, not exactly. It kind of lost itself there with we got shorter dialogue, but it's still kind of declaring.
That's okay. I mean, but that's where you can come in and add your voice, right?
Yeah. So I would go like, this is the sanctuary. You would take out the declared. I would just say, Leon locked the door behind them. He nodded at her bag. Dump it.
Right.
That's cool.
And so, but again, at this point, I would copy and paste this over to Scrivener and do the final edit and make myself happy, right? And I can do anything at this point. Like, for example, one of the things I could do is, what is the most complex electric lock in the world today? And I could just say, okay, oh, fine, screw you.
Forbes said no.
Electromagnetic doors versus. Okay, so
you grab that information, then you say, hey, make this cyberpunk.
Yeah. Make this.
Well, because your persona is set, your writer's room is set. Your writer's room is always going to just be like they're going to be perfect in cyberpunk stuff.
A lock to be beat.
Make this for this genre as a lock to be beat. So this is really Gardner. I mean, you're just using the AI as a writing room, but it's very performative. It's very, you do this task that I need in this moment, and then you're back to writing in Scrivener.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. I mean, and doing this, I'm able to put out, like if I'm really into the flow, I can do about 5,000 words an hour. If I'm not into the flow, I'm doing maybe about half that because I'm off doing research and stuff like that. So yeah, so what I'm currently targeting is 2,000 to 3,000 word chapters, full chapters, and I'm trying to get 1 to 2 chapters done a day. So,
I'll tell our people in the chat, feel free to send any questions about this methodology. Let us know if you use a similar methodology or
Yeah, let's take a moment to look at the chat. What do we
about
got in
this.
here?
So Rochelle is saying,
Atomic Elf, did you catch up?
yeah. Rochelle's saying, can you imagine if Line Editor were combined with Scrivener, then you could edit, generate in place? Yeah, I think that there's other software tools out there that attempted that, but they don't give control to the creative for all the settings and everything like that. So it's kind of a you're beholden to whatever they have on the back end and all of that. And I have some big dreams for like the next versions of Rexy of what can be done. Do you mind if I take over the con,
No,
Leland?
go right ahead. I mean,
Anything?
this is what I'm doing, and
Yeah.
and for the Future Fiction Academy, FYI, I'm doing Write With Me's and writing sprint stuffs 3 days a week. No, and now it's 6 days a week because I'm doing it on Australia time and I'm doing it on U.S. time. So it's 6 to 8 Eastern, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it's God only knows what. It's 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Pacific. You do the time math on that one. And that one's on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday for my Australian tribe. We're awesome, and we sometimes take some time to dig into what we're doing, how we're doing it. So feel free to show up, ask questions. It's all good.
So there's some new functionality in Line Editor that I've been dying to show people. It came out while I was kind of like unwell, and I don't think a lot of people are aware of it. I don't know. Have I ever showed you the Line Editor changes that you can now configure by the line items?
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's go.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Can you give me those links? So
here, I'll share. I'll give you the link to the chat thing. Hold on, let me share.
That'll be great because I'm going to steal. Well, I want to steal the persona stuff from your custom instructions.
Sure, no problem. Hold on here. Where's
especially the writing room? You can just send it to me on Discord, and I'll go ahead and get this set up.
I don't care. I'll actually share it in here too. So here, I'll put it up to you on Discord.
Okay. So we're off the screen now. We're just going to show Rexy.
Okay.
So,
here's
Alyssa. I love you, Alyssa. She's like, I love the new Line Editor changes. Yeah, they were the precursor to what my dream is. Let's see here. Put us back on us.
So let me interrupt you for just half a second.
Yeah.
So I just put the link. I just shared that entire Chat GPT. Excuse me. I just shared that whole series. I put the link in the chat. Feel free to grab it. You can copy it into. You can copy that into your own chat thing if you have a pro account, and that way you can kind of go through that a little bit slower. And I guess I'll share the thing. So I'll also share what we ended up with for the final style.
Can you send that link to me on Discord? Because if I click on it on here, it just puts it on the screen.
Oh,
you did. Okay, I didn't hear the whoop, whoop sound that it makes.
I heard it while you were talking.
I did not hear it. I was.
We're all good. And then let me just go I'll grab the custom instructions and actually put them in here individually.
Yeah, I got these. I got the as a cyberpunk serial. All right. I don't know how this is going to work, but we're going to find out. So, let's see here. I dream of a crazy world where we can write with AI in real time. Meaning you have the ability to turn on something and then in that moment you've put in a persona like what you're doing. So it has its instructions of what it has to do. And it has the ability to just change the words that are on the screen. So like if you're in sloppy copy mode, it has the ability to just start changing things like an actual co-writer.
Ooh, I love that. I mean, that's actually what I do when I use Google Docs with other authors. Like we'll open a Google Doc and we can see where we all are.
Yes. So Joseph and I have been working on the component pieces that are going to be needed for this tooling. And you'll always be in control. Everyone knows that I'm really a stickler for that. So with your protagonist for this particular exercise, I think I may have to change that particular persona to you. I don't know how it's going to work because I'll show you what it does and then you can tell me. So let me go ahead and go to this. This will be in the fairies, which I gave the link in the last one, because that's the project I'm going to work in. But so I'm going to go to my project and I'm going to do the fairies 1930s Miami. So I'm going to load that project. And so that project is loaded just so that it's somewhere on Notion that we're doing. Now in line editor over here, the new part of line editor is that you can always turn on auto write. So it auto writes everything to your project. You have this instruct. So you have this system message and the instructions. Then you have this new configure thing. And the configure thing is review from which line items. And there's a prompt in here that's automatic, but you can change it. Okay. It gives you one to start off with. Review lines from this to this. Only output line numbers you are commenting on. Please separate each suggestion with a new line. If you have no suggestions, you can respond all good or something similar. So I've been using line editor and it's like all good. This is what was broken and I apologize. You just fix this. The way it's going to put the prompts in, it's going to be 1, system, 2, instructions, and then the last information will be whatever's in this configure box. And so we're giving an example here. And I'll be doing an entire lab, an in-depth lab on this next week. I've got to put it on the calendar. But this is a good way for people to see it just to start off with. So in the instruct here, I'm going to put in that system message the cyberpunk stuff. As a cyberpunk writing assistant, I'm dedicated to helping you, blah, 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 blah. Let me grab some writing real fast from chat just for a second here. I'm going to put that same system message in. As for the AI, what I'm going to use, I'm going to go ahead and use Anthropic's Haiku. We're going to change up the table a little bit here. My temperature, I'm going to bring that down to 0.4. And everything else we'll leave the same, and we'll click update. And I'm just going to say, oh, you have the other stuff too, right? You sent it to me? No.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, not the way you can the way you shortened it. So let me, oh, there we go. Okay. Thank you. You're the best.
You're welcome.
All right. So in the system message, I'm going to put this, or I'm just going to put this information here. And then I'm going to put some dinkuses. It's the same stuff that you already have. And I'm going to say, write a beginning action scene where Mila 7 escapes her captives, injures someone, and saves another inmate. Go. So. I love that. Sorry, not interested in your hospitality. All right. So this is haiku, y'all.
Yeah. Good going, Claude.
Huh?
I love Claude.
Yeah. This is pretty good. We're at the New Prague Lab. Cynetic legs. Halt subject. Sorry, not interested in your hospitality. Oh, I like this. This is really cool. She slammed into him, knocking him against the wall with enough force to dent the titanium alloy. Let him go, you chrome-domed bastard, she snarled, grabbing the guard by the collar of his uniform. The man's eyes went wide with terror as Mila's fingers straightened out around his throat, or tightened around his throat. And he's saying, please. She tossed the guard aside. Can you walk? I think so. Okay, cool. So let me go ahead and grab this. But I actually don't have to copy and paste this because the beautiful thing about Rexy, if I come over to line editor, it's already in there. Everything that was the last completion, like it's cohesive so that you can just pop into line editor. So we're getting closer to where you can just kind of like the piece of writing you're working on, you can just hop into the different tools. Auto write. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and add line numbers. So now each one is a line number. And now with my system message in here, my instructions are going to be, keep the writing the same, but add in more action narrative to make the pacing more intense. And what's another word for
punchy?
Punchy. Keeping the reader enthralled. So I'm giving instructions for what the edit is. Now, under the configure part, I can say for which ones, and I want to go from 1 to 13. Okay, so I'm going to go 1 through 13. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go 13. Now, I'm going to say review the lines, only output line numbers you are commenting on for the changes you are requested to make. Please separate each suggestion with a new line. If you have no suggestions, I'm actually going to take this part out. We have that. So like we have that. Sorry, my Dosh is scratching. Apologies. Come on, dog. You are the worst for lives. We had that in there because we wanted it to not be forced so that it could be like, we were testing out if it would actually say all good, and it will. It'll actually be like, no, there's nothing I can change here. And we did that because these are the early prototype promptings for this world, this possible world where you are writing live with the AI. Does that make sense, Leeland?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So please separate each session with a new line. I'm good on all this, so I'm going to go ahead and process the edit. And it's like, here's my suggestions to make the pacing more intense and punchy. I don't know that it made any changes. So I'm going to
actually... It looks about the same.
That does look about the same. So I'm going to, because I said keep the writing the same. Okay. So I'm going to say only add more writing.
By
adding in more action narrative to make the pacing more intense and punchy, keeping the reader enthralled. So we'll try it again. Okay, here we go. So now it's giving that information right here, and that's kind of what I wanted. We've got to work on like how it lies up ahead. So up ahead, we had spotted another guard. The guard rolled around, but Mila was faster. Oh no, this changed it. So this is like a small change. I'm going to bring it over here. We need to build better tooling that you can compare these, and it will come so that if it says number 7 on the right side, it'll pair it up with number 7. So this, when you put it into numbers, it might actually like boxify it, even though I hate boxes. But for the purposes of being able to compare things left like side by side, we're going to have better tooling for that so that it's you're not like comparing like this. But first we had to make sure that the LLM could even do this, you know?
Makes sense.
Because this line, let's see here. So up ahead, we originally had word counter plus 862 words. The new line it's suggesting for number 7 is, let's see here, 67. So 5 new words. That's not great. Heighten the tension, make her more forceful. Let him go, she snarled, her eyes burning with fury. Yeah, so it can give you some ideas. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that's good, and I just realized one of the things that's missing. I usually in the style guide, I bet you it's not saying engage at least 3 senses, because I think that's what's missing. I think that's more my voice than anything else. But
yeah, so it's saying increase the intensity for the guard's reactions from Mila's attack, scream in pain. Okay, yeah. So I could grab this as the instructions, and then if I configure here, I could just put 3 and process the edit. So I'm changing it just to that. And so it just changed this. So we're hoping that we can, so here we go. Sorry not to interrupt your, this is just the very beginning days of this tooling. Okay. So halt subject, the guard howled in pain, dropping the baton. The guard howled in agony as Mila twisted his wrist.
There we go. Sickening crack of bone. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. So it's definitely different style prompting. And if you ever want to see what the prompt is, you can see that the last prompt was all this. And it might be, this is not really worded the right way because it's, I am here to support you. We might want to say you know what I mean? Like the prompt.
You are here to support you?
No, you are here to support me at every step of the right. Like usually if I was going to write a prompt like this prompt going this way, it's not being put through whatever prompting is around what goes around custom instructions.
That's true. Yeah. So because this is not a custom instruction, this is more of a system prompt. You need to reword it.
I need to reword it so it's like, you are a cyberpunk serial assistant dedicated to helping me create an immersive and gripping cyberpunk serial adventure. So, but it's early days on this. I think it's showing some promise that you could basically be very X-Acto knife with some of your edits. It's a little clunky, but you could actually get edit suggestions for multiple lines at one time with the set of instructions of like, read through these 40 lines, whatever the context window is of the prompt of the thing. And we're also using haiku. So hold on a minute. Let me try changing the model. Let me change the model to Sonnet. And
just reprocess.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say add more action. And make the reader squirm.
You're not writing, whore.
Well, it only has 1 through 3. And so here it's actually making changes. Huh?
It didn't do anything to 2, right?
Well, no, because I told it to 1 and 3. Now I could say
from 1 to 3.
Attention. Right? Fill in even numbered lines.
Oh, wait, you're missing 2. You only have 1 and 3.
2 is the space here, so it knows that that's the second line. So if I process this line.
Oh, I see.
So now it's 2. There we go. Klaxons wailed deafeningly as Milo 7 tore through the labyrinth corridors, her cybernetic legs a blur of motion. So it's adding a little bit of action in between. So you could actually tell it to like basically write in the gaps in between since it's odd numbered. Basically line 2 is right here where my cursor is.
Okay.
You could. So model matters. This is definitely early prototypes, but Joseph did add this configure thing from line 1 to line 3. So we have this tooling now to make it a little bit easier. Because earlier with line editor, you would have to like, I'm going to just show us again. Early with line editor, you would have to like manually say 4 lines blank, 2 lines blank. So the tooling's a little bit easier. You can just say what lines you want. It puts it in the prompt. You can still do a custom prompt because that was important to me. And we'll have more prompting and stuff like that for people to really make line editor a beast for editing. But I'm thinking if we can figure out a way to work with it for you for the way that you do things, it would allow you to mass edit a bunch of lines at once with just those lines without having to wait for it to retype everything. So.
Yeah, I mean.
Or not, you have your process.
Like I said, it's like I would love to be able to give it. I actually enjoy creating the mega prompts. I really do.
Yeah.
Because if I could give it the mega prompts and actually get it to give me an appropriate level of stuff with the closeness to my voice, I would be very happy with that. It doesn't work right now, so I'm not quite mega prompting. I'm using mega prompts to generate some sloppy copy, and then I'm going through and having to edit that by hand. But I found that actually is more efficient for my process.
Right.
I mean, and this is all about, you take some of the stuff that we're demonstrating, Elizabeth demonstrates, I demonstrate, Steph, Stacy, everyone, like we're all demonstrating various ways to use this technology. And we do teach the underlying fundamentals to give you that basis in the Future Fiction Academy. But once you have that, once you understand what are those parameters, how does this prompt affect? What's the words that I'm looking for? How do I interview the AI?
Yeah.
With that basis, find the thing that makes you efficient or it makes you feel good. I mean, the whole point of writing is to feel good while you're writing.
And that's why we had Rochelle on at the first hour, because her new book, she goes through all of that in depth about the fundamentals that we've been teaching about interviewing it and all that, so that the methodologies can literally be used with any model, even the models that are to come. Steph and I hadn't played with Llama 3 at all. And I know you and I talked, you weren't excited about Llama 3 either. No, we're like, I'm sorry, we're snobs. Like, we're just, we're like, it's, there's nothing wrong with Llama 3, but it's like seeing it. I'm bored. If we're the
like
kings,
I want bigger context windows. I like big context, and I cannot lie.
Yeah, but I want a bigger context window that works. Don't lie to me about your context window where you're like, oh, I have a million tokens context window, but what you really mean is it's actually small and it's sliding and there's stuff falling off and it, lies.
I want to address this comment that we just got from Atomic Elf. So I'm going to show it. So Atomic Elf says certain terms can have multiple meanings. Punchy, meaning impactful or forceful, but it can also mean tired or confused. And the UK means it. And it does not matter what it means to you. It only matters what it means to the AI. You have to learn the terminology that is built into the training instructions or the training data that was used for that AI. It does not matter what you think it should mean. It only matters what the black box neural network machine learning process did when it saw the training data and came to a conclusion. For example, feedback. Elizabeth, tell us about feedback.
You mean
or not feedback? Foreshadowing. Yeah. Tell us about foreshadowing.
Yeah. So this is great, Atomic Elf. You make a really great point. So the best way to do this is basically take a piece of writing that you've written that you want the AI to mimic and basically ask it to analyze it. Do that a couple of times and see what keywords it comes up with. Leeland, were you pushing for punchy because you've done analysis and punchy was something that came back?
Yeah. Okay. So I know when I'm writing science fiction, military science fiction, and cyberpunk, it likes punchy. Punchy is something it understands.
And that means that the training data that went into it, somewhere it made a connection for the token punchy, the tokens that make punchy in the vector field for what that writing style was that you like or that you're submitting to it to say, hey, analyze this.
Punchy means short sentences, fast action, small things. It doesn't mean punching a lot of things.
Last year, it was actually around this time last year because it was right as I was getting ready to start the FFA. I was madder than a hornet's nest that we couldn't figure out a way to make it stop saying, little did she know her life would never be the same. Like bow-itis is what we called it when it just ties everything up in a nice little bow. The last little line, the last two lines of every
but it was foreshadowing.
Well, so I asked it, I was like, what is this part fulfilling these lines right here in the passage above? And it said, oh, it's foreshadowing what comes next. That's not foreshadowing to a human. That's cliched writing. But if you ask the AI what cliched writing is, it doesn't know what cliched writing is. It thinks cliched writing is something completely different. So I used to teach in the very early days of teaching AI, and now I don't even know where. I used to have my book like always at the ready, like bam. Oh, I have it right here. Is it this one? Context, Think and Grow. Nope. This one will work. Okay, but we'll do this. English grammar. But the one I have is actually like analysis. It's all about literary analysis and everything like that. It's a glossary of literary terms. That's what the book is. It's a blue book by Abrams.
I have the little brown book on the shelf behind me.
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't need to show it. It's okay, Elizabeth.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared for this. It was always my prompt. I was like, bam, glossary of literary terms by Abrams. We have what we believe are literary terms that we've been taught in school and everything like that. But you basically have to check the AI to see what the AI thinks a literary term is. And that's how you find out that to the AI, cliched writing is foreshadowing. So you can't say don't do cliched writing. First of all, you don't want to say don't do cliched because it's negative prompting. Don't do that. And that's a deeper subject. But you have to use the terminology that the AI thinks it is. So it's like avoid foreshadowing.
Yes. Yeah. So you can do positive, negative, which is really fun. Avoid cliche. Like I'll actually say, like, no, those are too cliche because I'm saying your example the example that it gave me was too cliche. So that marks it for it so that it knows that, but then it associates that to whatever it was associating it with underlying. And I'll say, now give me something outside of that norm.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's how I can, that's the style of prompting I do a lot, but that's not something I do right off the start, right? It's like you have to be able to push an example back at it to say for it to make that association.
Yeah, I'm going to show real fast. I'm in the excuse me, Claude chat. I haven't asked Claude 3. What is cliched writing? in fiction? Give me some examples.
Important to ask for the exampple.
Yes.
Because it'll give you a beautiful dictionary definition. You go, oh, it's right. No, show me.
I'm going to use sonnet, just because
Why?
that's the one we most often use for generation.
Okay.
Overused, predictable, unoriginal plot elements. Character tropes, dialogue, descriptions, or phrases that lack freshness and creativity.
Now that's the dictionary definition, which I fully expected.
Her eyes were like pool. Little did they know. Oh, thank God it has self-awareness. But then it's like, what prompt should we write to make you write
without?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about how to prompt this. Oh, right. I know. What do you believe is a term meaning the opposite of cliched writing?
There you go.
Oh, and this is what you do. So then you start getting these keywords. I never would have done these words in my prompts. Would you?
No. I do use the word inventive and I use the word imaginative. I think I got that from somewhere when I was doing an analysis. I think, but it popped out.
Yeah, I'm going to try this unorthodox writing. Give me a meet cute scene for a
modern romance.
Romantic comedy. Because, I mean, romantic comedy is full of cliches, right?
Yeah.
Novel using unorthodox writing. Go gadget.
Is that your new catchphrase?
No, I've been saying it for a long time. Well, it's different. Although she slipped on a banana peel.
Banana peel. Wait. Camouflaged against a concrete path until it's
okay,
too
so
late.
I would keep it a little bit, but I would make it like a discarded yogurt container.
Yeah.
Because she's on a campus.
Yeah.
She's running late for her quantum physics. He's coming around on a unicycle.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on.
Since that regrettable circus camp incident back in the 5th grade.
I love my job. I love my job.
He was determined to reignite his passion for the extremely niche performance arts.
I would say that's cliched writing, but he was determined. In a cosmic convergence, Abigail's horizontal trajectory intersected perfectly with Floyd's vertical one. They collided with a resonant whomp, batons and bodies akimbo in a tangle of limbs that would make a sailor blush. Now he's a chiseled unicyclist. I'm deathly allergic to bananas.
Okay.
Then it's a darn good thing you fell for me instead. Okay, I don't think we can top that.
The brilliant physicist, nerd, and the charmingly quirky Unicoco. Unicoco took a permanent detour down on my. What is is that a real word?
Maybe don't use unorthodox writing.
Jen, you write the book. We give this to you wholeheartedly. It's yours.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Well.
This is actually our problem. We do some of these weird prompts and we get some of the most amazing possibilities, and then we're like, too many ideas.
Yeah. So I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Like and subscribe for more crazy banana quantum physics meet cutes.
There you go. Well, you asked for it. You got it.
We pantsed, all right. Be careful of your unorthodox writing. But I do want to thank you, Leeland, for sharing your process.
Sure.
It's definitely unorthodox.
Just like me.
No, I think I would call your methodology coding your writing room or prompting your writing room. You basically are creating a prompting for what your writing room has to do, what your writing room is, and then it's just performative tasks. So that's very Gardner, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, if I could afford to have 5 or 6, junior writers in the room next to me, and I could just throw stuff to them through the slot, this is what I'd do.
Exactly. There you go.
And actually, to be perfectly honest, last night with the Australian group, one of the authors that was in that writing group, she's actually does have ghost writers that she hires, and she actually farms out outlines to them and stuff like that. So she's currently trying to learn AI from us because she wants to see if because it looks the same to her. It's the same stuff that she's making for the writing room. But we actually ran the numbers last night, and she's currently paying about 40. Oh, okay.
Let's not disclose.
AI was significantly cheaper. Well, no, you don't know who it was and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I mean,
but still, we don't want to.
But I mean, the AI is, we'll just say, orders of magnitude less expensive.
Right. But that's if there's not labor costs on the back end to massage it into something that makes narrative logic sense.
Well, yeah, but it's roughly with time added in. But yeah, so it's okay.
So anyway, but I agree though that is where this is going. And as a matter of fact, the CEO of Penguin Random House, the president of Penguin Random House, was in India, I believe. You can Google this. And he said he is hoping to use AI to hire fewer people in publishing to put books out. Now, what they're not saying is that they're going to use it to write the books, but they will. I mean, I've got a bridge book to sell you in Brooklyn if you think that that's not going to happen. Right now, they're saying, oh, we're going to use it for marketing and for packaging and for editing and for things that they think are going to be more palliative or more, is palliative the right word?
Palatable.
Palatable. I was like, there's a word there that sounds like that. Palatable to the masses. And I think that AI is going to grossly disrupt labor, like across the board. So I'm glad one of our members.
I think the AI might be useful for like I said, the AI is useful for the sloppy copy, but you still need the editors and the people who are thinking to actually get you to actually publishable words. And I know that you're thinking, no, I can prove you wrong, Leeland. And I'm like, fine.
I mean,
but you have to.
Crazy as the banana peel was, were you not entertained?
I was entertained.
So
on the other, but there's still things there I would change.
Yes.
And that still requires someone to read through line by line, word by word, to cross check and make sure that it all makes sense. And I guarantee you get out 4 or 5 chapters into that, and you're going to get something that's going to conflict.
That's right? What Ryan agrees with you too. However, where I think there's things that I haven't shared yet or perfected yet that would allow the AI. So I'll just keep my mouth shut. But they've been training these things to be more deterministic, to be more exact, to be more logical. And we can leverage that if we convert the fiction to nonfiction, have it analyze the nonfiction report of the fiction. So if there's a bigger loop of assistance and things like that, most authors aren't going to want to do this. But if you're really, truly keen on trying to figure out a way to make the AI a couple of clicks, you're validating at certain points, you're going to have to figure out a way to make the AI do some of these tasks that you're talking about checking for narrative logic.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to feed it. Like, I have this 750,000 words of my epic fantasy. I would love to be able to feed it that and have it give me a continuity check on the next novel that I'm currently writing.
Yeah.
Because even I can't hold. I mean, it's like I can't hold all that in my head, and I might have someone with the wrong color hair or the wrong color eyes or the wrong dialogue style. I mean, and it's the wrong dialogue style. I mean, like the physical descriptions, I can see the AI catching, but the dialogue styles for a given character, it's getting a little too nuanced there. I think we're a little ways away from that.
Rochelle shares AlphaGo learned to play Go by playing itself. So the AI might be able to edit itself, read through, and rewrite.
Yeah, maybe.
I think we'll get there. So on that note, that's the future, y'all. Thanks for coming to the Future Fiction Academy Lives. We'll have some more scheduled in the month of May. I'll be in Oklahoma, I know that's not really tired at all. I'll be going to Oklahoma Writing Federation. I'm one of the featured faculty the first weekend in May, not this weekend, but the next weekend. Although this weekend's in April, Elizabeth. Yeah, the first weekend in May, I will be in Oklahoma. Last weekend in May, going into June, I will be in Wyoming at Wyoming Writers Inc. So those are two places that you can catch me. And Leland, I think you'll just be home.
I'm home.
You're home, but you'll be in all the right with me. So people who join the Future Fiction Academy, whether you join the lab only, Rexy only, or you want the Dino bundle, or we also have some standalone classes and some free classes, check out the website. We've got a lot of cool stuff. But if you do join lab or the Dino bundle, you can join Right With Me's with Leland, and they're a lot of fun. I've been starting to go. So
we put on good tunes. I DJ the whole thing. And I was like, shut up and get some work done.
Yeah, Zoom has really come a long way. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.